Hello, this is MetallicCat95 here, and we're going to play TransOcean2 Rivals. This is the sequel to the game TransOcean, the shipping company, which is a single-player shipping management tycoon game where you run a shipping company, buy ships, move cargo around, try and make money, trying to get rich. And we'll take a quick look at the basic features of the game. Single player, we have campaign, which is what we're going to play. Story-driven, single-player, challenge against the AI and other obstacles. And it goes through chapters as you try and build up a shipping company. Competition, where you play against the AI and have to achieve victory points, do certain objectives to try and gain points and out-compete your competitors. You can set the game length. The longer you set the game length for, the more rounds of challenges you'll have to go through. And the winner is whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game. And you can have up to 7 rivals. And you can basically set them here, different levels of AI. Set the game duration. Sabotage is one of the options. Sabotage, I'll describe more later, but it's more like dirty economic trips as opposed to, special ops, criminal activities. We'll go back. Multiplayer is essentially the same game, except instead of playing against the AI, you're playing against other people. Now, the endless game is exactly like the competitive multiplayer, but there are no objectives, objective victory points to go after. You're simply trying to become the richest player, or just basically enjoy the game. Play rich or not, there's no objectives. You play until you decide you're done playing. So what we're going to play today is the single player campaign. Now the campaign is basically following up from the campaign from the first game, TransOcean, the shipping company. In that one, at the start of the game, you had an investor who was willing to give you a chance to run a shipping company, but there was some little fine print in the contract. And that let her basically force you to do whatever she wanted and take a terribly unfair amount of money out of your company. She made a fortune. You basically were left having to do whatever she wanted, almost like, a slave. Your buddy Hiram helped you manage the company, and he also tried to find a way to get you out of this situation, which is part of the whole driving force of the campaign, to become rich and powerful enough as a shipping magnate that you could basically take control of the company that you built and be a successful billionaire, shipping tycoon. Well, the last element of that campaign, the last challenge, is actually very hard, because the more money you make your company, the harder it is to make the last challenge, because the goal is to make even more money. That's a little spoiler for it, but I don't think I've heard anybody to know that the more money you make by the time you reach the last challenge, the harder it is to complete the final element of the campaign. But as you have done it, according to our storyline, even if you haven't played the game, you were a ultra successful businessman running a super successful shipping line. Rich, powerful, everything was going your way. Life was good. However,
so you thought that after TransOcean, the shipping company, you had the boss magnate title all to yourself. Well, you hadn't reckoned on new and old rivals. Now it's time to see if you're still up to it. Put the past behind you and step up to a new challenge.
Okay, this is basically a single-player challenge. And our objectives are covered here. All the campaign things are basically based on objectives. And these kind of parallel what happens when you do the competitive game, that you're playing against other players, AI or humans, trying to do better than them. In this case, we're given a simpler goals than what happens later on in the game. So we have 20 contracts on time. But your job as a shipping owner is basically to pick up cargoes for customers and take them from port to port and try and make money. And you're trying to be good at doing that. And this is pretty easy, 20 trips. But now you have to beat out your rival, be better at delivering cargo than your rival. And then the final objective, the one that gives you 3 gold stars, Basically, the more you achieve, the higher your rank in the your award in the campaign. Have 10 million more in your account than all your rivals, which means you also have to make more money than your rivals. Can you do it? Let's find out.
Well-known shipping owner files for bankruptcy and loses everything. Rumors of crooked lawyers, saboteurs, and pirates won't go away. But who was behind it all?
Well,
Shipping
obviously, our
company
life
consultant
wasn't good.
Hiram T. Witherspoon behind bars. Investor Lydia Blythe Smith plays mysterious role. The beginning of a personal vendetta?
I'm sure.
Famous shipping boss after bankruptcy withdraws to Alaska. Reclusive life as a dog sled pilot. Sad ending for a tycoon? 5 months later.
Hi there. I know you don't know me, but we have a friend in common. I am Hiram T. Witherspoon's sister, Heather. I'm so glad I found you at last. You have to help me get Hiram out of jail. You probably think it's impossible since you'll never be able to pay the bail. Well, not without your shipping company. But I didn't come to see you without a plan. Without a good plan, in fact. In the last few months, I've been working my way into the shipping business and given it everything I have, but I can't make it on my own. I need you, especially if the rumors are true and that Blythe Smith woman was the one who put Hiram behind bars. I've been able to take out a loan that we can use to found your shipping company, and I've already opened a bank account. Are you on board? I'm begging you.
Of course we are. We are going to save Hiram, get our shipping company back, and prove that we're not, unemployed in Greenland. Actually, it's Alaska, but we're basically not living the high life anymore. This is our chance to get back into the game.
Okay, you're living in Anchorage now? Well, then let's make that where we put our headquarters. Click once on the port.
Alrighty.
So this is what your new home looks like. Okay for a fallback position, but very soon you're going to have to spend more time in your headquarters. And here's a construction site for it on the right. Click on it. Now that's what I call a nice office. And a few million euros sure isn't all that much for it either.
Oh yeah,
I've
very
been
nice
able
office.
to pick up a ship on the second-hand market, but it's by no means the best. And pity it's only a feeder container ship. But then again, feeders are the smallest container ships, and they can reach all of the ports that bigger ships can't. Cool. Shall we go find some contracts for the ship then? This is the first step to putting together Hiram's bail. Would you like an introduction to the game?
Let's think about this. Okay, no. Yes, we are going to skip the tutorial. The tutorial is actually not bad. If you're not familiar with the game, it talks you through a lot of the things. But since I'm basically playing along as we get the game, I'm going to, do my quick little explanation as we go. The first thing, just to take a look at the scenery. This is actually quite nice. Each port around the world has its own scene. They're rendered in 3D, very pretty, little details, cars, ships, company offices, because every rival can have their own office. So you have yours, and you'll have his, they'll have theirs, and various possible businesses. In our case, here we are in Anchorage. We have one ship, Horizon, and first objective what we're going to go through is how to, we're in Anchorage. We have 8 million in the bank. There's a very useful pause button. The game is paused right now, so time does not advance until we resume the flow of the flow. What first going to do is take a look at shipping contracts. Little details of our ship. Our ship Horizon has 800 TEU cargo volume. Cargo has volume and weight. Weight in tons, cargo volume in volume units. In the case of a container ship, it's TEU. That is basically a unit to the size of a cargo box. You've seen the cargo containers in various shipping ports and locations like that. As a small little bit of fact is that the typical container that you see is actually 2 TEU, for the box size. They come in various sizes. However, basically this is how much cargo can fit on the ship. Your ship has a fuel capacity. Right now we're full, so we don't have to worry about it. And the ship has a condition. In this particular phase of the campaign, we don't have to worry about a condition. Our ship won't wear out. Otherwise, you do have to worry about your ship wearing down and needing maintenance. The last thing is the ship's speed. This is as fast as we can go, and in this campaign, because we are trying to be fast, I'm going to run it flat out, but I will show you a little bit more about your shipping options. Now here we are in Anchorage, and this is our range of possible cargoes that we can transport. Now it looks like we only have 2 to Metro Vancouver, which is the closest location. I'm certainly going to take those. The first thing I'm going to do is say, yes, we're going to Vancouver. But our next thing is, how much can we take to Los Angeles? New York is a long ways away. I don't want to commit to a trip to New York, despite the fact that it pays very well, because it's much more time. We'll do shorter distances first. And as a little tactical tip, I'm going to go for the smallest loads first, for the reason that we're trying to go and make contracts more money at this point. I want to make sure I get my 20 contracts and I'm running ahead of my competitor. This biggest one pays the most, and it would be nice to take that for the bigger chunk of money, but right now I'm trying to make the most number of successful contracts. And then we cast off.
Awesome. Your first trip in quite a few years. Feels pretty good, huh?
Oh yes. Now, we can go to the world view and watch our ship sail. There's our competitor running his ship, and I suppose he's going to have a chat with us in a moment about what he's doing. Right now I'm running the speed at the default.
Just wanted to introduce myself. Clark Masterson of Masterson Incorporated. I see that you've also founded a shipping company. Well, my shipping company's the #1 outfit around here, and I have no plans to change that state of affairs. You reckon your company's got what it takes to compete? Well, let's see.
Ha! If only he knew. A rookie? Ha! You're up for the challenge, aren't you? Show that Clark Masterson what's what.
All right. So, like I said, I paused the game at that point to give it a little speech so it didn't waste any of our time. All right, as I was saying, we have various game speeds that we can hit. I'm generally speaking going to speed up the game a little bit because we want to go and actually have the game progress. As you get more ships in the more advanced game, you probably won't need to speed up the game as much because you'll have much more activity going on. Now, one of the nice things about the pause button, when the game was originally released, the pause button did not work as intended. Now it does. Pause is a very nice feature because it basically means that our game time is not running while we're sitting here chatting and looking at the port. So we've arrived in the port. Now, there's a bunch of ways you can go and look at a port. I'm going to show you one of them, and then we'll show you the other ones. Here, this is how much money we made. Bonuses, 1.187 million. And now we get a report saying that our profit was 987,000. That's pretty good for our first profit. I'll show you some information here real quick. We arrived in Metro Vancouver. It shows you this every time. I usually like to see the first status, the big one, how much money we made. So this is how much money we made for the cargo. It cost us tugboat fees to come into port. It varies depending on the size of the ship in the port. However, every time you hit a new location, you pay this amount, pay money. Penalty fees, no contracts ran late, so we didn't have any. You can take contracts that run late, or your ship can be delayed and therefore have to run late. Fuel consumption, the estimated cost to refuel the ship for this trip, and wear and tear. In this campaign mode, we don't have to worry about wear and tear. In most trips you do. And this is the cargo we delivered. Did that one say we ran late? Well, I'll find out. To the port. Here we are in Metro Vancouver. Rather cold time of year. Vancouver doesn't always look quite this chilly. That is a nice scene. Look at the birds flying overhead. And we're basically continuing on our trek trying to beat our competitor.